What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Randy Rhodes FL, and I'm back at it again with another reaction video. A video called Man Butt Dials 911 while smoking weed, and the dumbest cops ever show up. So this guy's framing it as if the cops are in the wrong here. I don't know if that's the case. We're gonna find out, but it does seem like the cops are wrongfully intruding on this guy for smoking weed.
I don't know why you're being so difficult about this.
Because I know my rights.
No, okay, and I know my rights and our rights as officers. We can smell marijuana, so we can...
Even worse than that, they tell him that they're about to come inside his house, also without a warrant, just due to the alleged smell of marijuana.
You have to be 21 to purchase that.
22.
Okay, so we need to verify that then. How about that?
Just completely disregarding long-standing and clearly established constitutional law saying that they cannot do that. So the guy asks for their supervisor, but when the supervisor shows up, he's even worse than they are.
I want to talk to you because you're the supervisor. I don't have anything to say to you.
These are just basic constitutional rights that everyone needs to know in these situations. Also, people just need to see what the public is dealing with out there in certain parts of the country, entire police departments who just basically ignore our constitutional rights. So
far, basically, this guy butt dialed 911. The cops show up. They say that they smell weed, and they're gonna try to arrest him apparently, even though he accidentally butt dialed 911. So a pretty frustrating situation, especially for the people on my channel. We're a bunch of stoners. This would suck. So yeah, I think we're all pretty much against the cops here. Pretty much a dick move by them.
And therefore they continue to do it. So what can be done? Actually, you can help, so let's go through it. This footage was submitted by Xavier, who lives in Owensboro, Kentucky. He was hanging out at his house one evening, partaking and smoking what he says is a completely legal cannabis-based product, one which smells similar or the same to technically illegal cannabis itself. This is the neighborhood right here.
So maybe this could be like the gas station Delta 13 stuff, or the
the house. Note the vehicle in the yard, that will come up later. So this is what happened. As Xavier is listening to music at home at level 11, he accidentally butt dials 911.
Turning it up to 11?
You know that button on your iPhone's lock screen?
R.I.P. Rob Reiner.
Emergency? There's actually a whole bunch
Spinal
of
Tap
YouTube
reference.
videos answering the question, what happens when you press that button? Well, Xavier effed around and he found out. Even though it was a mistake, the iPhone's location was pinged. Dispatch sent police officers to his home. So 2 officers with what appears to be the Owensboro, Kentucky.
So that's pretty scary. I've definitely dialed 911 before, just walking back to my house and picking up my phone and realizing that it says 911, and I go, oh my God, I didn't mean to call you guys. And so this guy called them but didn't confirm that it was an accident, so they're showing up at his house.
Arrive to the scene and they walk up to the home's front porch. Xavier meets them at the door. He partially opens the door, but he doesn't step outside. He also does not invite the officers in, for a good reason, which you will see later.
Hello? Anybody? I ain't gonna give you my name. I'm not gonna run your name, man. I'm just gonna say I talked to you and they were safe. You don't need my name to do that, though. I don't have to give my name. You said you're home alone, no one's there with you? You called by accident? Yeah. When I said I called, I hung up. Okay, I know, but like, the cell phone dot hit here.
So if you put yourself in the cop's shoes, it's like this person accidentally called, but it could have been like somebody getting murdered by this dude in their house. So obviously, as a stoner, the cops are being dicks, but you can feel for them as to why they would have this type of attitude. What if there was a crime going down and somebody's in danger? So I definitely feel for the cops in this situation.
Okay. I just told you I didn't mean to call.
So what were you trying to call if you didn't mean to call?
I didn't mean to call. I just accidentally hit the emergency. That's all right, like that.
Oh, thank you.
It's hard, but I just hit the emergency call by accident, I guess, like on the lock screen.
After he explains to them that he mistakenly hit that emergency button on his lock screen and that everything was fine, that there was no emergency, the officer says, well, even though there's no emergency here, you're now required to give me your name because I can smell the smell of marijuana from inside your residence. Xavier explains that it's not marijuana, that it's a perfectly legal product, and he even offers to show it to the officer to explain why he thinks he smells marijuana. But the officer responded that he wasn't interested in actually investigating the source of this suspicious smell that he said he wants to investigate, but rather he just wants Xavier's name.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What?
Well, here's
That's
what we're going to
weird.
do right now. You're going to give us your name because I can smell the marijuana coming out of the house right now.
It's perfectly legal. It's THCA.
That's no.
THCA, so
Marijuana
gas
is not
station,
legal. Okay.
It's not marijuana.
legal
It's,
weed,
Well, it smells like marijuana.
It's
Okay.
show you.
hemp.
No, we don't need to talk about that right now. But
I don't have to give my name though.
so you're going to give your name now. We can just get a search warrant for your house. We legally can come in your house right now.
I feel a little dumb.
So this is where I stop feeling for the cops. Having this type of angry, better than you attitude, trying to arrest them over weed. Clearly, he doesn't see any violent intent or any real crimes going on. He's trying to arrest them strictly for weed, not even good weed. Gas station Delta. I no longer feel for the police in this situation, especially this guy talking.
First, he said, we can get a search warrant for your house. But then he corrected himself and he said, we can actually come into your house right now just because we say we smell marijuana. The officer claims that he gets to come in and search now for that product that Xavier already offered to voluntarily show him. Xavier then correctly says, no, you can't, not without a warrant. The officer then responds saying he does not have to have a warrant because he can smell it.
Listen, we can smell marijuana.
Okay.
Okay. So whether it's THC 8 or not, that still gives us the right to come in and search for that, okay?
Not without a warrant.
No, it does. I don't have to have a warrant when I can smell it.
And cops are still having this attitude towards marijuana. So pretty sad. Pretty sad. We need to speed up legislation. I know it's just been rescheduled. This shouldn't be a thing in the times we're living in
I
right
don't
now.
care.
Okay.
All you had to do is give us your name, and we were going to be. Yes, you do now. Now that I can smell the marijuana, yes, you do.
Okay.
Xavier again offers to show the officer what he's smelling, and the officer again responds that he doesn't actually care. Then the officer takes a different tack and he says that even though the smell could be explained by this legal product, that in order to buy that product, Xavier has to be 21 to buy it. And so now he needs to come into his house in order to verify his age that he's legal to use that product.
So I'm perfectly I was telling you, I can show you what it is. It's legal. It's part of the farm bill. It's legal federally.
Okay. Like I said, to me, it smells like marijuana.
And I have conditions to qualify me for
Okay.
marijuana.
You have to be 21 to purchase that.
22.
Okay. So we need to verify that then. How about that?
The officer insists that Xavier misunderstands his rights and he doesn't appreciate the rights of the officers. He claims that it's just like a car, that if he smells marijuana in your car, he can then go search your car. He says the same goes for your house. If I smell marijuana in your house, I get to come in and search your house.
I don't know why you're being so difficult about this.
Because I know my rights.
No, okay, and I know my rights and our rights as officers. We can smell marijuana,
Also,
so we
you're
can
allowed to
legally.
lie to me.
What's that?
I also know you're allowed to lie to me, so you could just.
Yeah, I'm allowed to lie to you,
Yeah.
but do you not understand the law that
My uncle's a
when
lawyer.
I could? Okay, well,
I'm not-
you won't tell us your name. Okay, there's a reason people call 911. It doesn't just not just an accident usually. Okay,
You know how in your locker room you can hit emergency call?
Yeah.
And it calls automatically?
then why?
That's what I
Then
did.
why?
That is exactly what I did when I did that, except I answered and I talked to them. But yeah, maybe he probably should have called back and said it was an accident or something. I don't if you just leave it, I mean, it's kind of his fault, but also this cop is a huge
Why not
dick.
just?
Mark's calling from William M. Davis.
Tiffany, what's the date of birth on that? OMU records and see who resides here at 2001.
Kristen name.
So I don't know if you even live here right now. So
I do live here.
okay, I don't know that because I can't prove that you live here. Everything's in your stepmom or your stepdad.
It's his house.
Okay. I don't know why you're being so difficult about that.
Dude, you're pressing me for my name when I tell you. You know I don't have to give my name.
Yes, you do. Whenever there is a legal matter, you have to give your name. Yes, if you were just randomly and we just come up and talk to you, no, you don't have to give your name. But when we have a legal,
He knows I'm not doing nothing illegal.
no, we don't know that. We're trying to. He's trying to agree with you.
You don't know, but he knows I'm not doing nothing.
That's impossible it's impossible to articulate the smell of marijuana,
I can
whether
tell
it's
you.
THC 8 or not.
Hey, but I'm not trying to be smart.
THC 8s.
It's show you ID. I will, but it's
He
like
mixed up Delta 8 and THCA.
You're the one acting like this because you just won't give us an ID.
I want you to tell me, and I'll give my ID once you tell me. I do not have to give my ID. You know I don't.
No, yes, you do.
Come on, dude.
I didn't even notice this guy's on crutches, too.
Whenever I can smell the marijuana, I can
If your supervisor tells me that I have to give my ID, I will.
I already know you have to get us your ID.
Okay, we'll call your supervisor.
352, 307.
I'll stay with whatever.
No, we'll just stand right here.
Can
Can you come out here? 2001 Stonewall, please.
I mean, I got a broken hip. I ain't gonna do nothing, dude.
Yeah, but we'll be a few minutes.
So what a waste of resources just sending more cops to this dude who's potentially smoking weed, like potential weed smoker.
Verify
Gotta
what the
fucking
officer's
arrest
saying?
him.
Let's hope not, because this is the most basic right that we have under the Fourth Amendment that this officer is apparently completely oblivious to. As the Supreme Court held in the 1980 case of Payton versus New York, absent valid consent or exigent circumstances, i.e. an emergency actively occurring, law enforcement may not cross the threshold of a residence without a warrant. There is no "I smell weed" exception to this. So even if a police officer does have probable cause to make an arrest for someone of some crime, Payton versus New York says, sorry, you have to come back with a warrant. It doesn't matter what you smell, what you know. You could have
Really? So you could hit like 4 Puffco bowls, a couple fat dabbers right next to your door, go put it around the corner, and it doesn't matter if the cop smells it.
airtight case of all time for possession of marijuana or smoking marijuana in a home that has ever existed. Xavier could have admitted that he had smoked an epic amount of completely illegal weed.
Oh,
and this
yeah.
cop still could not legally arrest him
Sounds great.
without a warrant. Why? Because he is in his home. Does it matter that the home belongs to his stepdad or anyone else for that matter? No. As the Supreme Court held in the 1990 case of Minnesota versus Olson, even overnight guests have a reasonable expectation of privacy in a home that they are visiting and therefore have full Fourth Amendment protections to that home while they are visiting.
Oh, that's
why
interesting.
Even hotel guests have Fourth Amendment protections to the hotel rooms that they are just renting overnight. So this officer absolutely cannot cross the threshold of Xavier's home, either to arrest him or to search. Now, this may be just a poor training issue. The officer is probably confusing cars and houses, which is frankly scary. While it's true that the officer does have the ability to search a vehicle on a public roadway if he claims to smell marijuana in certain states or develops other probable cause, that is actually an exception to the general warrant requirement known as the automobile exception. But there is no such exception for the home, and in fact, even when a vehicle is parked within the curtilage of a home, even the automobile exception does not apply. As the Supreme Court held in the 2018 case of Collins versus Virginia, police cannot enter the curtilage of a home, which is the area close to the home that's treated as part of the home, such as an enclosed yard, garage, driveway, or porch, to search a vehicle parked within the curtilage of that home without a warrant, even where they have probable cause, which could be smelling marijuana. Here, the officer is adamant that if he has reasonable suspicion
Didn't
that
know
a
any of
crime
this.
has occurred, i.e. smoking illegal marijuana, that he is now authorized to detain Xavier and search him and his surroundings. Not only is this officer mistaken in his belief that he gets to enter the house and search, but he's also mistaken that he even has the right to stand on the home's front porch and attempt to gather evidence, which he was doing by looking around, by smelling, by asking questions. He doesn't. Kentucky is in the 6th Federal Circuit, so other than Supreme Court case law, you'd look there next for applicable case law on federal constitutional rights. In the
Staring at this guy's pupils and he's reading his script. Just
Fifth
interesting.
Circuit case Morgan
Behind the
versus Fairfield
scenes.
County in 2018, the court held that police violate the Fourth Amendment when they physically intrude into a home's curtilage to search for evidence without a warrant, even where they have a reasonable suspicion that a crime has occurred. In fact, the whole concept of the curtilage of a home being protected came from a Florida case, Florida versus Jardines, where cops brought this drug dog onto a guy's front porch to sniff for drugs. The Supreme Court said that's a search, and you can't just go sniff for drugs on a home's front porch without a warrant, because that's basically like part of the home. But what if you're a cop and you smell something illegal? What if you smell marijuana? Surely the Supreme Court is wrong. Even way back in 1961, the Supreme Court said, we don't care. go get a warrant. In the 1961 case of Chapman versus United States, cops suspected this guy was operating a moonshine still in his house that he was renting. They could smell the mash, so they went and they got a search warrant, right? Because they could smell it.
It's interesting.
No, they didn't. They actually contacted the landlord to get permission from the landlord to enter, which they did. The Supreme Court said, no, it doesn't matter what you smelled. You needed to get a warrant to enter. And the landlord cannot give you permission to bypass the warrant requirement, and the landlord cannot give you permission to bypass getting a warrant. In other words, this ignorant cop couldn't be more wrong about what he thinks he's talking about. He has no right to
let's see what happens.
His ID.
And then it's just kind of fucked up. Like you're trying to think you're smart running the tag to get my name, and you're not.
Okay. And you're trying to be smart saying that because we can smell weed that we can't get to identify it.
For you. I just,
hey, you're right. You didn't.
My ring camera got pulled up, so
you didn't.
I knew I accidentally called 911, so I was like, yeah, they're probably here for that. Let me just tell them it was an accident. And then you're pressing me for my name.
And, okay.
Because you smell weed.
Yes, we smell weed.
You're assuming it's illegal, but I'm telling you it's not. And he even said...
So I'm assuming you're a legal citizen, but you could be a felon. So... You could have a warrant.
In order for you to possess it legally, I tell you the reasons for you to have it legal. I think you gotta have the receipt, purchase.
Yeah,
you gotta be you gotta have a doctor's note.
That's if I'm like traveling with it though. I gotta.
No, but like in order to actually like
I'll have it in there.
Have it medically for Kentucky for medical.
Oh, yeah,
that's
medical marijuana.
I was saying medical marijuana. I was saying you got to have it for medical marijuana. So I was trying to explain.
So it's just like if I saw you with a cigarette. Guess what? You got to be 21 to have a cigarette. So if I come up and ask you for your ID,
purchase cigarettes.
You gotta be 21 to possess them.
So they changed. They changed the law.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, so you don't know everything. I know you don't know everything. So it's the same thing. If I come up to a person and they have a cigarette, I can ask if I think they're underage. I can ask them for their ID, and they have to provide it.
Back and forth. I just want to see who wins at this point.
But my mom, by law, so I get mail at all 3 addresses.
Doesn't mail.
Yeah, it does. If I get mail there, I can use that as my address and my license.
If I was this dude, I'd just be getting bored and just want them to leave. Like, they've been doing this for so long.
I'm trying to violate them.
I'm not trying to violate
my ID, and I don't. Or my name, I don't.
Okay.
You articulate. I'm familiar trying to get my name.
The smell of marijuana is articulatable,
and you know that's legal. So ends that one right there.
No, it's not.
People know this.
What I just told you about?
You go get it right now, smoking in front of you. You can't do nothing at all. They're trying to be petty and just telling you. Okay. Do you ever think it gets weed or something?
No, I absolutely do not. Usually I don't even care about it. If you would have given us your name, I would have smelled the weed. I wouldn't have cared.
They didn't give it down. It was sitting all out.
So what's happening in this video might as well be occurring in some third world country or authoritarian regime somewhere, because federal constitutional protections that were won by our forefathers 250 years ago were actually meaningless here in Owensboro, Kentucky in January of 2024, because the Owensboro Police Department is either just that dumb or intentionally tyrannical. And nobody did in fact stop them. There was no accountability for this at all. The reason for this will be clear when you meet the officer's supervisor arriving shortly.
The boss is about to arrive. Boss battle.
What's going on?
Hey, Sarge. All right. So
they cleared the trash. They're about to get on the boss battle.
Questions here. We get the 911 hit call here. Knock on the door. He opens it, starts talking to us. We asked him to identify himself. We can smell odor of marijuana coming from the house. He just says, "No, I'm not giving you my name. I'm not doing anything."
Okay.
So we told him, "You have to give us your name."
Yeah.
He just kept refusing, and we eventually found it because there was another call here the other night.
Oh.
So we're good. He's good. He's clear.
You don't have any warrants?
No. But
you want to be uncooperative? I'm being uncooperative. I just know my rights. I don't have to get my name. I'm not doing nothing illegal.
Well, technically, we could get a search warrant for your house and come in and seize whatever evidence we
You
find.
think they give you a search warrant just for the smell of weed?
I just literally got one on Christmas Day.
Yep.
Not a week ago.
Maybe a gram and a half of THCA.
Yeah, no. I'm just letting you know.
I'm saying, like, I told him it was legal. I told him it's THCA. It's hemp. It's part of the farm bill. It's federally legal.
I'm just.
But he's still
the farm bill.
It is. It's a whole.
Marijuana is still illegal in Kentucky, but that's irrelevant. Did you need anything from the police department?
Yeah, I kind of want to know why y'all think I have to give you my name. And then he's running the truck, my truck, just to get my name. Like,
well, we got a 911
just run my
call.
plates for nothing.
We can. Actually,
no, you can.
We can run your plate because we got a 911 call here.
I told him to actually.
I know, but we still have to tell them we're obligated to come and call
give you my name.
Huh?
Doesn't mean I have to give you my name.
Well, yeah, you have to identify yourself to go if a crime's occurring.
This might be one of the most convoluted, drawn out situations I've seen
You see
on one of these body cam videos.
That would be committed.
Yeah, possession of marijuana. I have reason to believe there's marijuana in there. That is a crime. Well, it smells like marijuana, so I have probable cause to believe that it is.
It's hemp, officer.
What's hemp and what's marijuana, and that smell the shit.
Gentlemen, let's go.
Okay. Okay, then you talk. You should good luck, man. I mean, I can call it back and get another. If you misuse the 911 system, I will arrest you. I'm sorry.
I want to talk to you because you're the supervisor.
I don't have anything to say to you.
Okay.
What do you need from us?
Well, you're a public servant, right?
What do you need from us?
I need to talk to you about what.
At this point, I feel like the dude purposely dialed 911 just to have somebody to talk to. He's just talking to them for so
What do you
long.
need from us?
They're ready to leave.
No.
Okay.
What do you need from us?
I just told you. But if you're gonna be a smart ass, that's fine.
Huh?
If you want to be a smart ass, that's fine.
Nobody's being a smart ass. What do you need from the police department?
For no reason. I just said I want to talk.
Have a good day, sir.
All right.
So at the end of the day, the cops left. I'm unaware of any criminal charges ever being filed against Xavier. But just the fact that it happened is just amazing to me. Sure, Xavier should not have butt dialed the cops, especially when his house was wafting the smell of marijuana, but he actually handled the situation pretty well. He generally understood his rights, and he ended up documenting these constitutional violations while at the same time avoiding actually having to go to jail himself in order to do so. He was polite throughout, and he was a good witness for himself. The cop, on the other hand, though I don't know what his name is or I would tell you, should be ashamed of himself in my all of your politicians, which will you can follow along.
Right, so that was pretty interesting. A very drawn out situation. At first, I didn't like the cops. I felt for the stoner dude, and then he was just kind of being a dick. And then I came over to the cop side, and yeah, let me know whose side you're on. What do you think of this situation? It was pretty interesting. I learned some legal jargon, new laws. It was pretty interesting. So thanks for watching. Smash that like button. Let me know if you want to see more reaction videos. And this has been Randy Rhodes FL. Have a wonderful day.
In the Florida
medical marijuana program. That's the channel you've been hanging on. I'm Randy Rhodes, thanks for riding along. Hit that sub, keep your knowledge strong.